you actually sent me the collection and sale of native wildlife species. So what are these laws?
So these are regulations that are developed by a department. This is going to regulate what native species are allowed to be kept for personal use. Basically, there's just a list of the species that you're allowed to keep, and it's a possession limit of 1.
But you can have one of each species.
One of each, that's correct, yes.
At any time. So where Missouri, it was 5 of any combination that you wanted, but you could only have 5, period.
Yeah, every state has different nuances to it, but for our regulation, it's one of each.
I see a lot of overlap between you guys and Missouri, and that's not necessarily something I would first think of. Delaware and Missouri is quite a ways apart, but
yeah. Well, the species that are on there are our most common species. They're the ones that we have the least conservation concern with. Obviously, you're not allowed to keep any endangered species, and then other rare species, are excluded from the list as well.
And I saw on here it talked about breeding permits. But it didn't really, it talks about specifying, but I really didn't see a specification right off a hand.
Yeah, so honestly, I don't think anyone has ever submitted for a permit to breed in Delaware. That would be something that basically would have to be approved by the director.
Okay.
But to my knowledge, no one's ever done it, so I don't think that this regulation has ever come up.
All right, fair enough.
So non-native species are regulated by a different department, the Department of Ag, and they have basically a list of species you're allowed to keep without a permit, but then any other non-native herp would require a permit from them. And it's a $25 permit. I don't know too much of the specifics about it because it's in a different department than what I'm in.
Okay.
But some of the species we do allow, for example, corn snake is listed as endangered in Delaware. However, we do allow keepers to have corn snakes so long as they are coloration is not, typical of what a Delaware corn snake would look like. So we know essentially that it was a captive bred species. And I think Department of Ag also is going to require a permit, for you to keep a corn snake. Same thing as red ear slider. That requires a permit, and that all goes through the Department of Ag, even though we have red ear slider naturalized in the state, that all falls under Department of Ag regulation.
And that's interesting.
In our regulations, if you've held in captivity a native species for more than 30 days, you're not permitted to release it, and that is to help protect against disease. And also, you're not allowed to release any non-native species as well, which is to protect